Please note that the following content is not meant for children under 13. Hey everybody, it's SaskiaSketches, and today I'm here with a friend of mine.
Hi.
Well, you are supposed to talk in English.
No, I refuse.
Perfect intro. Okay, so I'm going to teach her how to draw.
You can't just say JD, I don't really care. I have already got them.
Okay, how about you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm JD, I'm amazing. The end.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'm going to give you a lesson in sketching.
Yes.
I've just decided in drawing, sketching in general. So, JD, what would you like to learn how to draw today?
Dragon.
A dragon. Okay, I like that. So, whilst you're sketching, sketching is a two-part process. So you start with the rough shapes, and then you go on to refine it in detail. When you start with rough shapes, you learn. You can get the proportions and the composition right, and then when you go into the detail, you can get the details and the smaller things. But if you start detailing right away, you risk of drawing something that's very nice and then having to move it because it's in the wrong position because you didn't sketch out the proportions at first. Like you could draw like a really pretty eye and then notice, oh, but the nose is over here. And that would suck. So that's why we do that at first.
That before.
Yeah, so that's why we do that at first. So we start whenever I draw a dragon, I like to start with a line of action, and a line of action is basically this is the rough movement that this dragon is going to make. So because dragons are kind of very flowy, they're very elegant creatures, long necks, that kind of stuff. So I think I could do something like that, for example. Okay. So. And if you wanna draw a dragon, you could go something like this, or however you want. So, okay, so you want a dragon to go that way. Now, look at the difference between the... Excuse me!
That was a gun. They didn't break the law, don't worry.
It's fireworks.
It was a gun!
No, I don't think it was.
I hope it was.
Okay, now, notice the difference between the way I sketched and the way you sketched. Well,
yeah.
Do you see the difference?
Yes, I do.
So, there's a hair on your pencil.
It's your hair.
So, look what the way I draw is I draw from my arm, and you drew from your wrist, like so. So if you draw from your arm, you've got greater accuracy. Really? And you can and you can draw more fluid and better lines in general. So give it a go. Draw without moving your wrist. Okay, that's already better. How about you hold your and if you want to draw a curve like so, it's best to turn the paper a bit, because it's easier to draw this curve this way than it is to draw it this way. Or like, yeah, you could still do it like that, but then you would have to do it like so instead of like so. So work with the way your body moves. So work with the way your arm is designed to move. So like go like so, or go like so, but don't go or like so. That doesn't really work. Doesn't really work. So just make it easy for yourself.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so now we have our line of action, and now we're going to add in some more shape and form. So I'm going to represent the head of my dragon with a circle. So I'm going to have a circle here because I want the head to be there. So where would you like your head to be? Yeah, okay, that's already better. And if you hold your pen like so instead of like so, you'll be able to get softer lines, and the ones you'll be able to erase a lot easier. Yeah, like that, exactly. Okay, yeah, and now I'm going to have the snout of my dragon go like this way. So I'm just gonna have like a blunt triangle on top of its face to represent where I'm going to have its snout. Yeah. And here as well, draw with your arm.
But my arm is tired.
When you get into the details, you'll be able to draw with your wrist.
Yes.
So, and if you want your paper to be to stay in one place, you can just hold it down. Okay, so the next step is blocking in some of the other features, and mainly the position for the nose and the ears and that kind of stuff, and the eyes. Dragons don't have ears generally, unless you're drawing an Asian dragon. They are sometimes depicted with ears, I think. Anyway, and horns and stuff where you want to get them. First you want to assess where your dragon is looking, how the head is positioned. So I think mine is looking like this way, and I think yours is just looking like that way. So I can generally figure out where eyes and stuff should go based on the animals that I've drawn, because dragons look like I mean, they are animals, so the general position of the eyes and the ears are going to be around here. The nose is going to be here. I keep saying ears, but
yes, the ears are around here.
Yeah, I guess the ears would be around there.
Yeah.
So, and the eye would be somewhere like this.
Like
Yeah, so I'd say your nostril goes from there to there. Yeah, something like that. And then your eye would be somewhere over here. Yeah, something like that. And then I like with dragons for the mouths, I like to be creative and just draw them out very with all kind of bumps and I like to draw them. I like to draw inspiration from alligators, how their mouths are shaped, like so. So you go somewhere like this. And I'm gonna give this one an underbite.
he needs braces.
Yeah, he does.
Imagine a dragon with braces.
Oh, poor dragon. So, yeah, I'd say your mouth will go from somewhere like here to there. Yeah, I guess you could go follow that line for a bit. So, do you want mouth to be open or closed?
Closed is fine, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good. And remember, draw from your arm. I know it's difficult to overcome, but once you do, you'll notice a definite difference in how your drawings look. Okay, so that's most of the first sketch layer. I like to call this part of the process the first sketch layer, and then move on to the next second sketch layer. And I guess you could block in some horns if you want to give your dragon some cool fancy horns. I think I'm going to give this one like a ram horns, like sheep horns, so they come around like so. I think that would look quite cool on this one. And I can draw these fairly easily because I've drawn quite a lot of sheep and I know how they look, these horns.
Have I drawn a sheep before? I don't think so.
So how would you like your dragon's horns to go?
Up.
Up. Okay, so I generally like to follow the head shape because it's yeah, so something like so. I would make it something like that, or you could make them go up like so. You can just figure out how just try what you want to do and draw from.
I don't know how to draw horns.
This is one of the best things that I've ever learned. If you draw like so, or like what you're doing in those little steps, instead of drawing like that, you call that drawing in chicken steps. Instead of that, draw from one point to the next. So I start my line here and I draw it from there. I don't draw it like that. I draw it in one fell swoop.
Okay.
So if you try that, yeah, that makes for more accurate and more, I guess, better lines.
So I don't know how to draw horns.
Yeah, okay, so now we've got the basic structure. And now it's time to add details. So I guess you could go about the details being like the nostrils, make them look more like nostrils and less like a hole in the face. And refine some of the lines, and I'm gonna go and have some lines across these horns as well. I'm gonna look up a reference of a sheep or like a ram that has these kinds of horns, so I can see how they look in real life and then apply them to my dragon.
Plot twist. Sheeps used to be dragons.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that I mean something like that. So when I look at this reference, what I see is that there are a couple lines going across, and they go something like that, in kind of like this direction. And I knew this already because I've drawn this kind of stuff before, but it's always good to keep referencing. So you'll notice I'm still sketching very, very lightly, and I'm not going in with very dark lines just yet, because I want to figure out which lines... Bless you. Because I want to figure out which lines I want to go with before I actually draw them in. So that's why I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines before I actually pick which one I like. Because you'll notice the more often you go over, you'll see that the lines that you like are gradually going darker. So this one is darker than that one because I've gone over this part multiple times. Yeah. So yeah, just I guess just grab some inspiration from things that you've seen in other animals. That's what I like to do with dragons. If you want a reference, I can look it up.
No, cats. I only have cats.
Cats?
Cats don't have horns.
Yeah, but so if you want to draw an eye, for example, you can go lizard eye, and you can see what do lizard eyes look like, and then you can take inspiration from that. You see, okay, so they mostly have round pupils, and sometimes they have split pupils, but that is more of a cat thing. So then you can...
Cats are cool, so I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, then I can go like, okay, I want to have a round pupil, for example. Yeah. Yeah, looks good. And then you see, and indeed you can see in the pictures that the pupils are the darkest parts of the eye, so you can... And it's kind of shaped like an almond. It's quite similar to a human eye. And you'll see as well that the lizards usually have a big creases around their eyes. So they like go like so. And so from this point on you can actually draw from your wrist, because we're making more of a, what do you call it, we're making details, so these require smaller intricate movements, and you can still get these with your arm, but I prefer to do this with my wrist. I think drawing with your arm is generally more helpful when you're drawing something big and something that you want to get the composition right and the proportions, that kind of stuff. So, do you have something that you would like to tell the audience, or how is it going for you? Are you liking the way this is looking? Are these tips helpful?
I don't like the horns, but my eye is good.
Yeah, I like your eye as well. Yeah, so, and the more you draw, the more details you'll pick up on. Because I'm drawing this mostly from imagination, but I'm drawing inspiration from real life references. So, like real life animals and that kind of stuff. But I'm making most of these details up as I go. Because of the yeah, I guess my experience in drawing real animals has given me some sense of where eyes are normally positioned, or what kind of shape the certain features have and stuff. And that just comes with observing and creating. Yeah, so would you like to have a tip for the horns that you've drawn? Because generally horns and antlers and that kind of stuff with animals, you'll see that they often start out very thick and then thin out as they go on. As you can see, that this part of the horn is a lot thicker than this part, and this decrease in size is very gradual. So what you've drawn is mostly the same size up until this point, and then it goes to a point fairly quickly. So the way I would do it is I would, if I were to draw something that stands up this big, I would have it go more like that, and then gradually taper out like so. Yeah, and I'd do the same for that one.
And he disappears into the sky.
And you'll see what I'm doing now is I'm kind of like, now I've entered into the second sketch layer, and I'm using darker lines, and I'm refining all these details. So you'll see my first sketch layer is very, very light, and then my second sketch layer is a lot darker, and I'm actually like refining these details and picking which lines that I like best, and refining those. If you need any help with anything, just let me know. Like, how do I draw this?
How do I draw? No, just kidding.
I can probably help. I think this is my favorite part of drawing, the refined sketching phase, because it really starts to bring the drawing to life, and that's what I really like about it. I always have trouble making dragons' necks look like dragons' necks. I don't really know what to do with them, because they're just kind of like, they're just there, basically. You need to make them look like they're actually attached.
Maybe they're just attached with some glue.
Just use glue. Usually looks better when I throw on some colour.
It also just looks like it's a skull, so.
Skull dragon. Skull dragon. I really like drawing dragon skulls. I think they're fun to draw.
I've never drawn a dragon skull, because I don't know how.
But I think it just bases it on like a horse skull or a dinosaur skull. And skulls all look kind of similar. They just have different proportions. I just look up a reference. Yeah, so basically...
So I want to give it little wings. How would I do that?
Little wings?
Little wings.
Like comedically little wings?
Comedically little.
Comedically small, okay. Yeah, I think I would just look up a reference of bat wings. And just like so, this one for example. And then draw that but small. I draw them somewhere around here. So, and then just like tiny. So, like we started with the dragon, you start out with the basic shapes. So you have a square here and then another square there, just another square, just something like that. And draw with your arm. Yeah, like that. Very good.
I don't have much muscles.
You don't need many muscles for that.
You do.
Yeah, and like that. That works.
It doesn't fit here.
Yeah. It's okay, my dragons never fit on the page. Whenever I try to draw a dragon, the wings always end up going off. Okay, and then you can see, you can look at the detail and you see, oh, they have these, like, stripes going through the middle. So, like, I would just draw it like that. Just draw those bone things first, and then after that add in the, what would you call that? The fabric? It's not really fabric, but the leathery material that's between them. Yeah, like that. And then round out those corners. Yeah, looking good. I'm gonna give Kermit wings. Because this... Put that there.
Kermit has
On
wings
accident, but now Kermit is a dragon.
now. Yeah.
Sorry, can't do anything about it.
I mean, whatever
It just
happens,
is what it
happens.
is. It's a happy accident. Bob
mean-
Ross style.
He looks good with wings.
He's cute. I think this is what its skull might look like.
Mine doesn't have a skull.
No, he doesn't.
It's like an insect.
Okay. That's cool.
Only like with a layer of snake skin around the insect skull.
The exoskeleton. Is that what you mean?
Yes, insect skull. That's exactly what I mean.
Okay, and after I finish this, like refining the detail and the line work, I like to add in some shading. So I'm adding the shadows and the values. So I think these horns should be a bit darker than the skin. So I'm going to just color them in a bit with my pen. I'm just using some hatching to do that and to distinguish it between values and to just refine it a bit more. So if you think, oh yeah, my horns should be, these dragons' horns should be darker, or like the inside of his nostril should be darker, then you just go ahead and yeah, add in some shadows. Yeah, I was gonna say the shadow under the chin. I always do those as well.
Because they're shadows.
Yeah, shadows. And the way I like to do those is I like to follow the shape of the object. Like, so you can see with the shadow, the one that I've done underneath Dewey here, you can see how the shadow follows the shape of her tail.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it like that, I guess you could go like so. Yeah. Maybe round that a bit more. Looks good. And you can go with as little or as much shading as you want. Usually when I spend more time on a sketch, I just add in a ton of shading because I think it's fun.
You still have to give it a name. I'm gonna call it
The Theodore. Oh, that's cute.
Yes.
Should mine be Simon or Alvin?
Why only those two options?
Because the chipmunks.
I don't watch the Chipmunks.
You didn't watch it?
No, because it's dumb.
That's fair. I think it's dumb too, but I watched it when I was younger.
I once watched one movie at school, so... But it was better than doing work.
Right. What would you call mine?
Peter.
Peter.
Peter the Dragon.
From Peter and the Dragon.
Yes, it is Peter the Dragon.
That's gonna be kind of confusing, isn't it?
No, it isn't. They're only making it confusing. Maybe they live in a world without Peter and the Dragon.
Right.
Because we live in a world without dragons, so it would only make sense.
Mm-hmm. Is that even on the right side? I've got no clue. I don't know how shadows work.
I also don't know how shadows work. I mean, I know how shadows work, but I don't know. Like in theory, I know how they work.
Yeah, but I don't really know how to depict them. I know it would look something like this, but I think the light is coming from here.
I mean, if your
So then-
shadows are off, you can also always
Do you
just
like
say that
that?
they are the
But I don't like
vaste
that.
nerada.
From the what?
The vaste nerada.
Could you explain that a bit further?
Okay, those are creatures, like really small, and they live in the shadows, and they can kill you in an instant.
Oh dear. What fandom are they from?
Doctor Who.
I knew it.
Oh, that's a really good episode. Like, it's such a sad episode. That 2 episodes.
Some people in the comments might know what you're speaking of.
I mean, I hope they do.
Even though I don't get many people in the comments.
I will comment and say this.
Oh, you'll comment and say that you understand what you were talking about.
Yes, yes, I understand what she is talking about. How come? Also, great video. Love the guest star.
Okay everyone, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more art videos every single Friday. Have a great weekend and keep on sketching. Bye!
Bye.